Hey, welcome to Breaking Bread, hosted by me, Crunkshaw, a show where we break verbal bread with a quote unquote enemy. Whenever Manchester City has an upcoming match, I will be here having a conversation with a supporter of City's upcoming opponent. Subscribe to our $6 tier of Patreon in order to enjoy the full version of this episode. If you're listening to the first 15 minutes, that is on our public forums, our feeds, our channels, and you're like, this is a great conversation. In order to enjoy the full episode and all of our amazing content in our library, $6 a month. Just $6 a month. That's what? A pint, depending where you are. It's a cup of coffee. It's a, well, it's, I live in America, so it's a little bit more than a cocktail. So, but depending where you are, $6 easily forgotten about. You can help and support a independent podcast and just have dope content and amazing things coming this summer. Actually, so we're going to be connecting with a lot of people, stepping way outside of our Manchester City bubble because it's off season. That's when you really have fun with most dope footballing friends. But we have a wonderful show tonight discussing Manchester City versus Fulham. I saw the numbers, the percentage chances of City locking in that Champions League spot, 97%. That's jinx nonsense to me. I'm not hearing it. That's fake news. I'm not acknowledging it. We take on Fulham. We're going to Fulham in a small stadium where you can feel the energy from the Fulham fan base. Shout out to Tarek, who is one of our show bros of our podcast. He's actually going to be at that match in London. So I can't wait to hear about his experience. Here we are connecting with, for the first time, part of Putney Perspective, which as an American, I'm very dumb. I'm going to need to hear exactly what is Putney. I think it's like a street or something like that. But Shady Gang, please give it up to Skibby. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well. I'm very well. And just to give you a bit of education, so Putney is the area of London where Fulham originates. So within Fulham,
Okay.
Putney is the area, and we even have a stand. So the train station, the nearest train station is Putney Bridge. We have the Putney end, which is basically where the away fans sit, as well as some of the home fans. And I used to sit there, but I don't anymore. Hence the name. But I just can't be bothered to change it. So that's what we are. But no, I'm good to be here and good to talk about this game when it's a bit more relaxed. Normally it's a lot more on the line from probably both of our perspectives, but it feels a lot more relaxed this time.
Yeah, and I would actually, let's kind of start there. I mean, we'll talk about the team overall. They there were a lot of the Fulham was a part for a moment. They were a part of the like Nottingham Forests, the Bournemouths that were making things difficult. I mean, you sit in 10th, which is great, and that's
Mm,
higher than United and Tottenham. Uh,
absolutely.
Overall, how has the season felt? Because you have some good play. Like ever since the beginning of our podcast, Anthony Robinson has been on our watch list. We've wanted him forever. We're a big fan of him. You have some solid players that I would actually be interested to see what happens with the summer. I saw Marco Silva asking the FO, the front office, to hopefully do some more and push to possibly have a bigger season next year. Do you feel like that's possible? Is this like a stepping stone to greater things in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you really break it down into the transfers that we made, the players that we've lost as well, like we lost João Palhinha, we lost Mitrovic in sort of consecutive seasons, which were really huge parts of the way that we play and basically instruments to our success, really. So having to rebuild each summer has been pretty awful. Like trying to find where we're going to get the goals from when Mitrovic leaves for Saudi 2 seasons ago. And then this summer, or the season just gone, João Palhinha leaves. So we've now got a huge gap in the midfield to plug. So, I think Marco has done a fantastic job in we've I wouldn't want to say that we've kind of overplayed, but I do think that we have really gone strength to strength and really taken the game to a lot of big teams. And I think that it's a miracle, to be honest, that we were within touching distance of Europe within 2 games or 2 games ago. So with 4 to play, um, with the gaps that I said, and I think that's all down to Marco Silva. I do think that there's been an element of probably penny pinching, and he hasn't been fully backed by the Khans. Obviously, being Americans, I think you guys know Tony and Shahid
Yeah.
Khan being the Jacksonville Jaguars owners. They are very much set their mind to Fulham being this sustainable entity, which is great. But at the same time, if you want to progress in the Premier League, sometimes you just got to put the money down and really show your faith in the manager. And I think that could be an element of our downfall. But I mean, in keeping Silva, when I mentioned that's there's been a lot of grumblings of he could go to Tottenham Hotspur if they decide to let Postecoglou go. There's rumours of him going to Saudi Arabia as well. But I think to be able to keep Marco Silva, that's our key asset. And unfortunately, the owners are going to have to really back him and say, right, you've got us to top half of the table, which is fantastic. We'd love for you to take us a little bit step further. And unfortunately, that's where we probably don't see eye to eye from a management level and an exec level, where they need that investment into for Marco to stay.
Yeah, it's every I keep forgetting that Khan is part of the owner. The Khans are the ownership because we have a wrestling podcast in our network as well, and he owns AEW, and
Yep.
he's known at AEW for spending maybe too much money on some of the wrestlers that he has, and just having just cut a couple people, just get rid of a few people. That'll make a lot of difference when it comes to the Fulham side, and he's starting to kind of spend money with the Jaguars. I am hoping
Mm.
that energy will go towards Fulham. I guess my next question is, what is something about Fulham that you love, or what is best quality about the club? Just this is your chance to kind of just humble or not so humble brag about Fulham.
I mean, for me, it's definitely the fan base. The fan base has always been like a family to me. Like, there's been there's very little aggression and real hostility in terms of when you go to games. I think from going to games when I was 5 to 6 years old, you always felt safe. You always felt pretty calm, which is quite a nice thing for me. I think you do when you get older, you do see like, oh, you look at like the hooligan aspect of in the European teams, and sometimes you get the ultras of Liverpool, for example, and yeah, it looks like fun, but at the same time, it's kind of like a target on your back if you were in the wrong part of town at the wrong time. So I think for Fulham, you probably get this. I say I'm a Fulham fan. You don't neither feel hatred towards me. You don't really feel. If anything, you normally get people feel sorry for you, which has been quite funny. But me as a Fulham fan primarily, but a football fan as well. It's really nice to go to parts of the world and then they say, "Oh, who do you support?" And then you say Fulham, and then they go, that's a really weird team to support. And it's just great because it's a nice conversation. No one feels any kind of um, issues with you at all. They just seem to get on with you and ask a lot more questions about why Fulham, why this. And I think that's a really nice thing to have. But also on match days as well, it's the best stadium to go to. I know people will say atmosphere at Anfield is the one, or Tottenham Hotspur have all the gizmos of filling up the beer from the bottom and all that crap. But at the same time, Fulham, you've got the best walk along the Thames for 20 minutes, which is really awesome. And then you've got just a random cottage sitting in the corner of your stadium, and you're so close to the pitch. I don't think you'll have any better match day experience than going to Craven Cottage. So you mentioned a friend of yours on the podcast who's going to the game, and I'm sure you'll ask him, but he will have a great time regardless of the result because it's just such a fantastic match day experience in my opinion.
Yeah, there are plenty of other teams around Fulham that I have so much more hate towards. Like my feeling towards Fulham is great. There are a lot of the players that I on the squad that I respect. I soft root for because they came from other places that maybe didn't take them for granted. Again, Anthony Jedi, like
Mm.
I love that dude and just what he does for our country, his quality that he gets to show. Like Anthony Robinson should be getting the attention and accolades that Kristen Pulisic gets. And that's kind of like the biggest frustrating thing about it. But we're not here to talk U.S. men's national team. Uh, so I am hopeful for City's chances in this game because of the fact that Fulham sit in 10th and they don't, you can't get relegated. You can't get put into a Champions League position. What does this match mean? But also, like you said, the fan base, they bring it every single home game. The space is so small that the players are going to feel them. Man City love playing wide, expansive football. We can't really do that on that pitch.
Nope.
I am there's a tiny little bit of worry that they will want to play, spoiler sport for us.
Yep.
And all we have to do is draw. Like that's all we have to do is draw. But when all you have to do is draw, I feel like that just kind of leaves you open for a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I was gonna say I think it's not Marco's way to be negative and go for the draw. He is a very aggressive and attacking manager. He would always look to really take the game to teams, especially when they come to Craven Cottage, mainly because of what you mentioned, the pitch being smaller, the crowd being right on your backs. It's not a fun place for teams to come, especially when, like you say, they're used to the bigger pitch. And I just think that there are elements of what I've seen this season, especially with some of the injuries and the way the Man City have played, that I just feel that there are some points of where Fulham can really take the game to Man City. I think especially Jedi being one of those players who, if you have a wide winger, I'm going to think of like Doku or Silver in this instance, but are they going to track Jedi going forward? Probably not. And I think that's where we've seen a lot of success when we beat Liverpool at Craven Cottage earlier this season, where we just seem to overload a certain side. We decide to pick a side, and normally it's the left side, mainly because of Jedi's pace. But they will sort of start with the ball on the right-hand side. They will suddenly switch it over to the left, and before you know it, you've got Iwobi, Smith Rowe, and Jedi all really high up on that left-hand side and overloading. And that's where we see a lot of the success. And I think that's something that we may see just because I don't think, and I might be wrong here, but since like Cancelo, I haven't really seen a proper right back for Man City. And so I think that would be something that we will look to implement. But I think, yeah, it should be a really good game. And I think, like you say, because it's a bit more of a free hit, that we're not relying on a point to stop from being relegated and things like that, that we can try new things. We can at least try and take the game to City and try and end the season on a high. And I mean, you guys have a target on yourselves as well, because you're one of the best teams that have been in the Premier League since I can remember.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to beat Man City, right? And to sign off the season, we've just hit our record points total as well. So for us to yeah, that's amazing to witness. So for us to hit the 54 point mark, and then you know what? Why not try and hit the 57, take the game to Man City and really finish on a high and give the fans a real reason to celebrate at the end of a quite successful season, really, for a Fulham point of view.
I am more hopeful. We have seen recently Southampton, Crystal Palace. If teams shut up shop, do those two banks of fives, we really struggle to break that down, and that's on a white pitch. So if you guys shut up shop at Craven Cottage, it's good luck. It will be a 0-0 draw, which in the end helps us out. Bournemouth, they want to play. like you said, if Marco Silva wants to play, that is our best chance that we come and we have play against a team who wants to play football. I get so frustrated. Like obviously I get it. You get teams to stop playing so defensively by beating that style, and then teams have to kind of try to figure something out. So as long as the smash and grab continues to work against Manchester City, teams are going to continue to do that. But it's just so it's incredibly frustrating. It did happen to Crystal Palace. That's another set of fan bases in a club that I very much enjoy and I appreciate. If there's a team that we're ever going to lose to, I'm okay with it being a team like that. I was actually really shocked to hear about Marco Silva being rumored to potentially go elsewhere. But that makes sense. He's a great manager. He's a relatively young dude. There's a lot of promise in him, but I would love to see him stay. There